Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Okay, it's gonna be a good one. I am so excited. Hi, so we're not talking about books today, okay? The books are going on the back burner because something more important was released, all right? And you know, I am internally dying. Hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Kara. I am actually a booktuber. Yep, I talk about books, I talk about fantasy romance, I talk about fantasy, I talk about all the books. But today, we're not doing that. Today, we're talking about Taylor Swift, okay? If you are unaware, or if you're new to my channel, I am a massive Taylor Swift fan, okay? I've literally been there since debut, since day one. Her songs have been the soundtrack of my life. Like, I'm not even kidding you. As she is with a lot of people. But yes, I am a huge Swiftie. I love decoding the Easter eggs. I love getting into the lore. I love trying to figure out who these songs are about and like all that kind of stuff. That's how I personally like to enjoy Taylor Swift. You can enjoy Taylor Swift however you want to enjoy her music. But that is me. And I also, at the same time, am a massive 1975 fan, okay? I will say I was a Taylor Swift fan first, 1975 fan second. I started getting more into the 1975 during the latter part of 2022 when they went on their At Their Very Best tour. I had definitely listened to music off of their debut album before, and I had listened to like their bigger pop hits, but I never really like got into it until the end and the latter part of 2022. Once they started touring and they put out Being Funny in a Foreign Language, I was rose from the dead. And over the past year, I have completely dove into the Matty Healy lore. I am here to try and explain all of this to you today, and my goal for this video is to try and decode this album from someone who is a massive fan of both of these artists, okay? Before we get started, I want to put a massive disclaimer on this whole video. You know, I could be totally wrong. I don't know these people at all. I am fully aware of that. All I know is that I'm chronically online, I am a lifelong fangirl, and these two are the two people I am most passionate about in the pop culture world. And the fact that their worlds collided for a brief part of time, like, it sent me. I literally couldn't even process my emotions when they were actually dating. The other thing I want to say is that Taylor Swift's music can be interpreted in so many different ways. I personally like to interpret it in the literal way of like me trying to figure out who she's talking about and stuff like that. You don't have to listen to her music like that. You can enjoy the music just to enjoy the music, and that's totally fine. This is how I like to interpret and process the albums, but you are free to do whatever you want to do. This video is me processing this album, okay? I am trying to like understand this and just talk it out, and like I just wanted to put it out online, okay? That's the goal for the video. This is a passion project. Yes, I am 30 years old and could do way better things with my time, but this is what I choose to spend my time doing, okay? It is literally a fangirl disease. I don't know what to tell you. All I know is that as someone who's chronically online, I'm gonna be giving you all of this information. She entered into evidence and I am presenting and connecting the dots of the evidence, okay? That's the goal for today's video. I'm gonna be trying to explain to you who is Matty Healy, who is the 1975, and what is the timeline of this entire album, and why does this matter in the context of Taylor Swift's life, okay? That's the goal. So I'm gonna be splitting this video up into a few different parts, okay? We have some backstory we have to understand before we get into the album, okay? First part of this video is going to be explaining Matty Healy and the 1975. Second part of this video is going to be the timeline. What actually happened in the relationship? When did all of this happen? What is the proof? I will be giving you the receipts, okay? And the third part of this video is going to be fully dissecting the album, okay? I'm gonna be talking about the prologue, or like the poem that she wrote, the Stevie Nicks poem, the album, the lyrics, like we're gonna be diving into it all, like the music video, literally everything we're gonna be diving it into. I do wanna give a disclaimer, I'm not going into every single song because there's literally 31 songs and we would be here for like 4 hours, but I'm going to be giving the songs that are most pertinent to the Matty Healy situation. And the last thing I want to say before we get started, I might be missing stuff, okay? I do my best to try and compile the evidence, but I am sure that there are people out there who know the lore even more than I do, especially the 1975 lore. Again, I'm a huge Swiftie first, but like if you have other parallels or crossovers or whatever, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I just don't want people coming for me if I like get something wrong or something like that. Like I'm just doing my best as one human individual. There's so much here to decode and to understand, and I don't know these people, but I'm just giving you the evidence that I have seen so far on tiktok.edu. Just kidding. But I know that there are things that I'm probably missing or things that I have probably not found yet or whatever, but like I've only to have this album for 3 days. If you find other comparisons or similarities or whatever, you feel free to leave them in the comments. Just please don't come for me, okay? That's all I'm saying. Just don't come for me if I get something wrong, if I mess something up. Like, I am only one person. I'm just trying to do my best here. This is all for fun. This is literally all for fun. I just love Taylor Swift and I love Matty Healy and I just wanted to make this video, okay? This is fun for me. The other thing I want to make very clear, extremely clear, is I do not condone Matty Healy's actions, okay? I do not think the same things he thinks. I do not think that what he says is right, and it's honestly vile and disgusting a lot of the times, okay? He's been canceled more times than I can count. But I am just trying to tell you the facts of all of this. And like, being a 1975 fan is very hard to explain sometimes. Yes, you do have very conflicting moralities in the fact that I am obsessed with this music and love this music, but I literally hate what he says and does at most times, okay? I don't know how to explain it. I just try and understand the tortured soul artist, lead singer of a band mindset for 1 second, and maybe you will try and understand where Taylor Swift is coming from with all of this. Okay, cool. All right, let's get into it. So first thing we have to tackle is the brief history of Matty Healy and who is the 1975, okay? The 1975 is a band from Manchester, UK. They released their debut album, I think back in like 2013 or 2014, called the 1975. Massive album. It has great songs on there like Chocolate and Sex and Robbers and Hard Out and Settle Down, The City. So many great songs. If you've never listened to that album, I would highly encourage you to go give it a listen because it's phenomenal. The idea behind Matty's persona is that he's like this like tortured artist front runner of the band. Like, I know he's talked about before, and if you just like get into the 1975 in general, he kind of like gives this idea of like, he's like Mick Jagger, where he's just kind of like this strugged out lead singer who's just like this tortured artist, but he's so like poetic and prophetic, and like he just has a problem. He like drinks on stage and stumbles around, and like he just portrays this like tortured artist literally on stage. Like, if you go to his concert, he's literally stumbling around with a bottle of red wine in his hand, drinking and singing and just like on one at all times, okay? He was a former drug addict, which he has spoken about at length and put in his songs. Like, that's not news to anyone. He says extremely controversial things. He's been canceled multiple times. It's just like this like tortured artist phenomenon. And I'm not defending any of those comments that he's saying, okay? I'm not saying any of those are right. I'm just trying to give you the overall personification of Matty Healy. He's basically just like an overall shit show, but he has a brilliant mind. Like, his music it's very like philosophical at times. He talks a lot about like issues with the world, problems with the world, how it's really messed up, and like religion. He's an atheist. He like questions religion all this time. It's like this whole like artistic, it's not even a bit. This is what it seems like he is. It's just this bad boy tortured artist bit, okay? He like kisses fans on stage. It's like a whole thing. If you want to understand more, just go on TikTok and like type in Matty Healy at concerts or something like that, or Matty Healy compilation. I hope this helps you understand. And I understand the people who are like, this guy is disgusting, I don't get it. But like, just try to get it for a second, okay? Like I said, this is gonna make a lot more sense. The other thing that I think that could maybe help explain it to you a little bit more is he actually dated Halsey for a while, back in like the 2010s or something like that. And she wrote Colors about him. And she actually wrote this like really long poem and posted it on Tumblr. It's quite graphic, but it like explains the idea behind Matty Healy and the persona behind him in general. I'm gonna leave the poem link down below if you want a little bit more backstory and lore on Matty Healy in general. I feel like the poem actually does kind of explain the image of him a little bit better, and you get a better idea of him in general. He gives drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and like that's all you need to know pretty much. But like, it's tortured artist, bad boy, tattoos, smoking, like it's the vibe. That's his vibe, okay? So yeah, if you haven't listened to the 1975's music, I'm actually gonna leave a playlist link down below of like the Tortured Poets playlist, which I put together of like the songs that are about Matty Healy, the songs that I think are about Taylor Swift, and some of just like bops that 1975 has that like maybe you might understand and you might get into it if you listen to it, okay? Also, just go listen to Being Funny in Foreign Language. I love that. Honestly, just go listen to all of their albums. They're all incredible. Okay, so next thing we have to understand before we move on to the album is the timeline of Matty Healy and Taylor Swift, okay? We need to start back in 2014. Late 2014, Taylor Swift attended 2 1975 concerts. She went to them with Karlie Kloss, and that is where Kissgate happened. If you know about Kissgate, you know. I'm not gonna get into that. But at one of these concerts, Matty Healy sang a song, Falling For You, to Taylor Swift. And there is like video evidence of this. He's literally looking at the balcony singing to her, and she's like staring at him from the balcony, okay? Keep in mind, they are both 25 years old at the time. They were both born in 1989. We don't know if anything actually like happened romantically between them. They definitely exchanged numbers. They started hanging out a little bit, but like no one really knows if anything like actually like happened at that time, like romantically. But that was where it all began. The other important thing is that after these concerts, each of them were seen wearing each other's merch. Taylor Swift was walking around wearing the 1975 shirt. Matty Healy was singing his concerts with the 1989 t-shirt on. Clearly they like something was going on, but whether it was just a flirtation, not really sure, okay? Fast forward from 2014 to 2022, not much happens here, okay? Matty Healy was asked shortly after 2014 about is he Taylor Swift's boyfriend, and he literally explicitly stated no, like swearing all this again, Matty Healy is problematic, says things that are not very kind sometimes. He explicitly states no, I would never do that, F that. Blah, 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 blah. He goes back to rescind those comments sometimes. He says he respects her. He wants to work with her in the future. Nothing really happens then again until about 2022. Matty Healy is asked in an interview if he is putting out music with Taylor Swift or if he would ever collaborate with Taylor Swift. He basically says there was a song that they had collaborated on Midnights Together that never got released. And yeah, that was about it. But like he leaves the door open, like I would love to work with Taylor Swift in the future. I also want you to keep in mind, they both have the same producer. Both Taylor Swift and the 1975 have the same producer, who is Jack Antonoff. He is a prominent character in this lore, okay? So you need to know who he is. He is the lead singer of Bleachers. He is also a producer. He started producing with Taylor Swift back in 1989 and has subsequently produced like Lana Del Rey's album, the 1975's album. I'm definitely missing other ones, but like he's this huge music producer, okay? And he's best friends with Taylor Swift. Another thing in between this time, Taylor Swift obviously dated Joe Alwyn for like 6 years. And we know that relationship kind of turned cold and stale and gray. If you need proof of that, listen to You're Losing Me, listen to Tolerate It, listen to So Long London. Important to this plot, I guess we'll harken back on that later, but we're not really talking about Joe Alwyn. Next part of the timeline, January 2023, Taylor Swift shows up at the 1975 concert and sings Antihero and The City. This was in London. And Becca from Back in the Books was there, and I am so happy that she got to experience this moment. Absolutely iconic, okay? When this happened, my soul actually rose out of my body, and I was like, these two people that I am obsessed with are finally like collaborating. Like, are we gonna get new music? I was dying. Okay, I was dying at this. We don't hear anything or see anything happen again until May 2023. Now here is where shit hits the fan, okay? May 3rd, 2023, press leak that Matty and Taylor were seeing each other and together. This was leaked by The Sun and Du Moi, which are both like gossip magazines. The Sun is like the Fleet Farm of gossip magazines, okay? Nevertheless, it was leaked. I literally remember this day. I was absolutely screaming, crying, throwing up. Shortly after that, the 1975 is touring in the Philippines, okay? And here is where we get the iconic words mouthing to each other, okay? If you were online, if you were following Taylor Swift and Matty Healy at this time, you would have seen at the 1975 show in the Philippines, the song About You starts to play, which that song sends my soul soaring to the clouds. He's about to play About You, and as the intro to the song, he says, "This one is about you. You know who you are. I love you." And like very explicitly says this into the camera. He also has a few other comments during some of these Philippines shows too. Like before he played the Me and You Together song, which is a song about I've been in love with her for ages. I've been in love with her for stages. He's talking about being with a woman and they're having kids. And like, it's just this, like, he's always pictured himself with this woman. Okay. Before he starts singing this song, he says, "I've been trying to tell you this the whole time," to the crowd. And then the other thing he says during these shows is right before he plays She's American, which is about an American woman, he goes, "Yes, she is." So he's making these comments that are like pretty obvious that he's talking about an American woman, someone he's been in love with for a very long time, and someone that he thinks about and has not forgotten, which is the message of the song About You, okay? I've put all of those 3 on my playlist below, so like go listen to the songs, and I hope you understand a little bit better. Next thing is the Nashville shows, which I was at. I was literally at and in the same section as Matty Healy. That was probably one of the best days of my life. I'm not even kidding you. It was the first time I saw Taylor Swift in concert, and again, soul exited body. I literally went to heaven and back. Like, and it was the Rain show too in Nashville. I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. But Matty Healy was at all these shows, and this was where she had announced the Speak Now re-record, okay? So Matty was seen there looking at Taylor Swift like this. Okay, if this isn't giving tattooed golden retriever, I don't know what is, girl, all right? She is singing Fearless to him, looking straight at him, and he's sitting there like these pictures show it all, okay? Clearly, something is going on with Taylor Swift and Matty Healy. Matty Healy doesn't look at anyone like this, okay? This is a rarity. But at these shows, Taylor Swift mouths back to Matty Healy right before Cardigan starts playing. This song is about you. You know who you are. I love you. I really hope I can like put these clips in. If not, you just go on TikTok and like type in Matty Healy, Taylor Swift or something like that. You will be able to see they are literally mouthing these words to each other, okay? Also, the other thing that happened when we were in Nashville, when we got into the concert, we literally walked in and there's like a soundtrack that plays before Taylor comes on stage. We walked into the stadium and About You was on by the 1975. Literally, me and my cousin were deceased. Like, absolutely deceased, okay? And we knew, we were like, something's happening with them. Something is going on. And during my show, she kept like looking over at him too. She was singing Style and walking down the stage and being like, you got that James Dean daydream look in your eye. And she's like looking all cute and looking over at him and stuff like that. Like, it was iconic. It was absolutely iconic. I can't even believe I was there. Like, peak of my life. No, I mean, yeah, it was. So other things that happened in Nashville, Matty Healy was seen to be in a car with Taylor Swift. They were walking in and out of her condo and stuff like that. They were clearly, something was happening with them. Something was going on. After that, during the month of May, they are seen exiting Electric Lady Studios together, sometimes late into the night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. Rumors swirl about her trash can being full of cigarettes and bottles of wine and booze. And they are also seen out to dinner with Jack Antonoff. Like in these photos here, they're seen holding hands and kind of like being really touchy-feely and stuff like that. He also went to other shows too throughout this time. Like, he was at the shows in Philly. He was sitting with Taylor Swift's dad. They looked like quite happy and like they looked like they were getting along. It was really cute. Okay, so now during this time of like, they are in a relationship together, clearly like they're like in love with each other. They're literally mouthing I love you to each other on stage. While all of this romance is blooming and blossoming, Taylor Swift's fans come for Matty Healy, okay? May 17th, there was a hashtag Speak Up Now issued by the fans saying he has said racist things. We don't stand by this. Taylor Swift, you need to start thinking about your actions. Like I said in the beginning, Matty Healy has been known to say some extremely controversial things, racist things, homophobic things, anti-Semitic things. And I am not excusing that behavior. I just want you to know that I am telling you the facts of the situations, okay? I am not defending him. I am not doing anything like that. I am just telling you the facts. He is known to have said some terrible things, okay? Fans are urging Taylor Swift to think about the levity of her actions. And I quote, "Your voice holds tremendous power, and right now your silence is palpable. Racism, anti-Semitism, and any form of discrimination have no place in our society." Yes, that is true. And as fans, we believe in the power to inspire positive change, promote inclusivity, and educate others. Staying silent about actions that perpetuate this contribute to oppression and undermines the progress that our society has made, okay? Fans are enraged that she is associating with him, that she is having this blossoming romance with him. And we're going to get to that later. She talks about it in the album. Now, you have to remember, like I said in the beginning, Matty Healy has said some very controversial things, racist things, homophobic things, all this kind of stuff. I am not defending that by any means. I'm just telling you the facts. And Taylor Swift knew all of this going into this relationship, okay? Next part of information. So fans are coming at them for their relationship. May 20th, Taylor Swift is at her show in Foxborough. She says before she starts singing her surprise surprise songs. I've just never been this happy in my life, in all aspects of my life ever before. And I just want to thank you for being a part of that. It's not just the tour. I feel like my life finally feels like it makes sense. So that is her preface to the surprise song where she plays Question off of the Midnights album, which has been rumored to be about those 1975 concerts. Okay? Next date in this timeline, May 27th, my birthday last year. The 1975 plays the BBC radio show, and Matty says, I am avoiding all questions at this time. Who is this about? You may never know. There's literally a video about it. I can leave it linked down below. That's the gist of the video. Okay, he basically says, I'm not saying anything. All of these rumors are swirling about who these people are about who I'm talking about. I'm not saying anything. Okay, so after May 27th, there is continued hate for them, continued pushback, continued, literally they are coming for Matty Healy. They are giving death threats. They are like, the fans are mad at Taylor for associating with him. Continued hate for this relationship. It is not going well in the public eye. All right. June 3rd, Matty opens for the 1975. He did like a solo act. And during his solo act, A Song for You by Donny Hathaway plays overhead, and he spray paints sorry on a white sheet. Okay. The lyrics to the song about you. I've been so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs. I've made some bad rhymes. I've acted out my life on stages. He literally does this on stage with 10,000 people watching, but we're alone now and I'm singing this song to you. I know your image of me is what I hope to be. I treated you unkindly, but darling, can't you see? There's no one more important to me. Baby, can't you see through me? You taught me precious secrets of a true love, withholding nothing. You came out in front when I was hiding, but now I'm so much better. And if my words don't come together, listen to the melody because my love is in there hiding. I love you in a place where there's no space or time. I love you for my life because you're a friend of mine. And when my life is over, remember when we were together. Something happened. Something happened. He's spray painting sorry while this song is playing overhead. That killed me when I read those lyrics too, by the way. That literally killed me. June 5th, next up, TMZ reports the breakup. TMZ reports the breakup, and rumored the breakup is that he completely ghosted her and took off on a jet plane. Okay? He just left. He up and left, said nothing, bye. Next important date, June 13th, 1975 announces they're still at their very best tour. The aesthetic for this tour is Scientist Laboratory. The announcement video for the tour is Matty Healy in a lab coat. Keep this in mind, in a lab coat with testing, experiments, all that kind of stuff. Does that sound familiar? We're gonna get to that in a second, okay? I hope some of this is starting to make sense in the context of the album, if you have listened to the album. The other thing I wanna point out during this time is the surprise songs that Taylor Swift played, because I feel like going back and looking at the surprise songs, things will start to make a little bit more sense, okay? April 23rd, she plays Begin Again. April 28th, she plays The Other Side of the Door. So we're getting the start of a new relationship. The Other Side of the Door, lyrics are like, I want you to come meet me in the pouring rain, come back for more. I want you on the other side of the door. Like, she's yearning for this relationship, okay? April 29th, she plays Gorgeous. April 30th, she plays How You Get the Girl, which is about how you get the girl. Literally, this is how you do it. You go back and say, I want you for worse or for better. I want to be with you. May 5th in Nashville, I think this was the date she announced, Speak Now. She played Sparks Fly, start of a new relationship, sparks are flying. May 6th, she plays Out of the Woods and 15. We are now out of the woods. Are we out of this time where we can't be together? Are we in the clear now? Can we finally be together? And she also plays 15, which I think is a harkening back to the time when they had first met, when they were like in 2014, 2015. May 7th at my show, she played Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda, which sent me, okay? And then she also played Mine. That's very important because Mine is a song from the 1975 as well, which is about like marriage and him needing to grow up and wanting to be with this woman for the rest of his life. Okay, that actually kills me. May 12th, she plays Come Back Be Here, which is about a guy in London. She's wanting him to be here with her you know, in like where she is, but he's always over there. May 13th, she plays Forever and Always and This Love. Oh, all of this, it just all means everything. It just means things, you know? Like she's talking about like new This Love is good and bad and it's back from the dead. This just sends me, okay? May 20th, again, that's where she said, my life is finally where I want it to be. Everything seems to be falling into place. She plays Question, which is about the 1975 concert. May 26th, the day before that BBC radio show, she plays Getaway Car and Maroon. And then during this time, at the end of May, early June, I think the biggest Matty Healy coded surprise songs is June 2nd in Chicago. She played I Wish You Would. I wish you would come back. Wish you never hung up the phone like I did. And she plays The Lakes, which both of those extremely Matty coded. Not only is it, I wish you would, like, I want you, like, I wish you would come back and I wish you would be with me. But The Lakes is like, the lakes where all the poets went to die. Tortured poets! Literally spelling it out. Okay, I'm literally spelling it out for you. Go listen to the songs if you don't understand, but The Lakes is about wanting to go away to these lakes where all these poets went and they just like could be and live and whatever. And he is the tortured poet. He is a tortured poet and she wants to be with him. And it's just, do you understand? Do you understand? Okay, so now we have the entire timeline. We have the entire backstory, the facts of what happened during this time in May 2023, okay, of when this relationship happened. Now we can move on to the album, to the Tortured Poets department, and this, I enter into evidence, my tarnished coat of arms. Here we go. We're gonna be explaining the evidence and how all of this relates to this timeline. Like, this is where it gets good, you guys. Just get ready, okay? First thing, we need to talk about a few different things about the album in general before we dive in. Tortured Poets Department, the TTPD. If you're a 1975 fan, doesn't that font look familiar? Doesn't that look familiar? I'm just gonna put up like a comparison right here of the two different fonts of the 1975 and the Tortured Poets Department. Number one. Number two, black and white aesthetic, okay? If you are familiar with the 1975 in any capacity, you know their aesthetic is black and white. The Change of Heart music video, black and white, silent film makeup. We're gonna get into that in a second. Anything from Being Funny in a Foreign Language, the aesthetic was black and white and also blue. The comparisons are there, okay? We have the black and white aesthetic. She is alluding to the 1975. Just to actually show you, the 1975's album covers it black and white. We got the black and white aesthetic. This is Being Funny in a Foreign Language, and we got the blue on the back, okay? You understand. The other thing I want to point out that I don't think many people have talked about, this is not completely blown up onto the page, and all of the albums are not blown up. There is an inlaid photo in the albums. Again, if you're familiar with the 1975 in any capacity, you know their motif and their symbol is a box, okay? All of the band members have it tattooed on them. Part of their aesthetic, the first two albums they put out, each of the albums contains a box. I think that's pretty symbolic. Okay? I haven't actually heard anyone talk about that, but I'm just like, hey, she's in a box here. She's in a box. And the 1975 is a box. And there's other alludes to that in the music video as well, which we will get to. Okay, so now that we have just the basic aesthetic comparisons, let's deep dive this album. Okay, so first thing that you see when you open up the album is an introductory poem by Stevie Nicks. Sent me, okay? Absolutely sent me. Do you want to know why this is important? Do you want to know? This is Fleetwood Mac's album Rumors. Who is on this cover? Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. Do you know anything about Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham? If you do not, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham were both in Fleetwood Mac, and they had this tumultuous sex, drugs, and rock and roll relationship where she was the lead singer, he was the guitarist. It was a blow up of a relationship, okay? They loved each other, they cheated on each other, they wrote music together, they wrote music about each other. It was like this toxic, musical, poetic blow up of a relationship that resulted in some incredible music. If you did not know, Daisy Jones and the Six is loosely based off of Fleetwood Mac. So if you don't know the Fleetwood Mac lore, like just if you know Daisy Jones and the Six, that's essentially the story, okay? It's the story of Daisy and Billy. It's the story of Daisy and Billy, okay? But like this actually happened to these people. So there is a like bonus track off of Rumors, which is called Silver Springs. And when I tell you Silver Springs is my Roman Empire, I'm gonna read you some of these lyrics, but your homework is to go check out the video link down below of when Fleetwood Mac sang this at the 1997 Warner Brothers studio. It's like 97 or 98 Warner Brothers studio. I need you to look at Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, okay? The tension there is unreal. Okay, listen to these lyrics. Time cast a spell on you, but you won't forget me. I know I could have loved you, but you would not let me. I will follow you down till the sound of my voice will haunt you. In this 97 Warner Brothers studio, she's literally staring at Lindsey Buckingham singing, I know I could have loved you, but you would not let me. She's like singing it, the eye contact, it's all there, okay? Give me just a chance. You'll never get away from the sound of the woman that loved you. If that doesn't give you the comparison, I don't know what does. I am so passionate about this. I can't even explain it. I hope I'm conveying to you the comparison here between Matty Healy, Taylor Swift, and Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, okay? Taylor Swift is literally alluding to her and Matty Healy as the Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks of modern day, okay? I don't know how else to convince you. Seriously, go watch that music video. Stevie Nicks wrote this poem. You should look it up online if you want to go and read it. But essentially, she introduces the poem for T, and me. The poem is about this relationship. It's the colliding of a woman who is soaring to the stars and this man who's way too high on drugs to even notice where this woman is going. He can't even see her through the clouds through his drug-induced coma, okay? Looking back on the relationship, she realizes he was a tragedy of a man, dangerous and hot-tempered, but fearful of her, and he's fully aware of what he's doing to her, but cannot stop himself in the end, okay? She looked down from her future and shed a few tears. He looked into his past and actually felt fear. For both of them, the answers would never be ever clear. The kicker of this whole poem is the ending. She was just flying through the clouds when he saw her. She was just making her way to the stars when he lost her. Taylor is literally spelling it out for you. She is saying this is about a toxic relationship filled with music and drugs and sex and rock and roll and love bombing, and it's just chaos. It's exploding, this romantic, chaotic, like bomb. But yeah, that was honestly the kicker for me. Like when I saw that, I literally fainted. Like I absolutely deceased. You need to go watch the Silver Springs music video if you have not seen that anywhere, okay? And again, if you don't understand the relationship between Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, it's Daisy Jones and the Six. That is it. Next part of this album that is very, very important is the poem that Taylor Swift writes, a summary poem by Taylor Swift. I'm just gonna read a few lines here because I feel like some of these are extremely important, and she's literally spelling it out for us. As you might all unfortunately recall, I had been struck with a case of a restricted humanity. She is talking about her relationship with Joe Alwyn that went stale and went cold and went gray. See So Long London, see You're Losing Me, see Tolerate It, see literally anything, okay? Of Midnights, all that kind of stuff. She has consistently shown that she felt caged and trapped in this relationship, and it felt like it was going nowhere. She goes on to say, which explains my plea here today of temporary insanity. Temporary insanity. I went crazy because I was locked in a cage for 6 years. Boom. You see the pendulum swings. So we're going from a long, really stable relationship for 6 years, locked in a cage, all the way over to crazy, chaotic, messy, toxic bomb of a relationship, okay? We're swinging the pendulum back over. Oh, the chaos it brings leads the caged beast. She is the caged beast. She was in this relationship for 6 years to do the most curious things. She is getting out of this relationship. She is curious about this thing that she's had with Matty Healy, this longing she's had for him for so long, okay? Lovers spend years denying what is ill-fated. This relationship with Matty Healy, it's not gonna happen. It shouldn't happen. This is not supposed to be. Resentment rotting away, galaxies we created. Stars placed in glues meticulously by hand next to the ceiling fan. She is placing the stars of their relationship next to the ceiling fan, which is gonna whip them down in 1 second, okay? It's not gonna work out. And then she goes on to say, and in one conversation, I tore down the whole sky. So it's gone. Spring sprung forth with dazzling freedom hues. All of this happened in the spring. Then a crash from the skylight bursting through. Something old, not Joe Alwyn, something old, 2014 old, mayhaps. Someone hollowed, Matty Healy is a hollowed soul, who told me he could be brand new. This guy can be a better guy. This guy said he was going to change for me. This guy said I am the person who he will change for. Matty Healy. Like I said, Matty Healy is a problematic individual. He will change for her. And so I was out of the oven and into the microwave. I was out of the oven of this long-term relationship and into the microwave where I'm about to blow up in the microwave, okay? This is gonna explode in the microwave. Out of the slammer, the 6-year relationship, into a tidal wave, crashing, getting thrown around, like tsunami, okay? And then she goes on to say, but loneliness struck at that fateful hour, low-hanging fruit on his wine-stained lips. Who has wine-stained lips? Who parades around his stage with a bottle of wine? Matty Healy. Next part of the poem, in summation, it was not a love affair. I screamed while bringing my fist down to the coffee ring desk. It was a mutual manic phase. I went insane. It was self-harm. I went crazy. It was house and then cardiac arrest. House, I played house with Joe Alwyn and or I played house with Matty Healy because she does allude to them saying they were going to be marriage and stuff, and then boom, they died, okay? A smirk creeps onto this poet's face because it's the worst men that I write the best. And so I enter into evidence my tarnished coat of arms, my muses, he is her muse, acquired like bruises, my talismans and charms, the tick, tick, tick of love bombs, my veins of pitch black ink. All is fair in love and poetry. I don't even need to go into the album. Just those two things alone should explain it all, okay? If that doesn't spell it out for you, let's get into the lyrics. Let's get into the songs. Okay, guys, it is time. We're about to dive into these lyrics. I honestly, if I channeled these passions into other things more productive in my life, who knows who I would be at this point. Like, I would be soaring through the skies, honestly. But here we are. A 30-year-old woman who just can't help herself but just make an entire freaking video essay about her album about two people she's never even met before. It's fine. Okay, let's dive into the lyrics. I got my refreshed coffee. I am ready. Let us sit down. We're getting to the meat and bones of this album. I just want to briefly go over a few large themes that this album portrays. First of all, we have the story about the tumultuous whirlwind of a romance that didn't end up working out. Okay, that is very obvious. She says it in like literally the majority of this album is talking about this whirlwind tidal wave of a relationship. The next theme that we continue to see is the asylum or mania, or the fact that she feels like she's going crazy, that she's caged in, that she's an experiment. That's very much seen throughout the music video. Other things to think about, fame, celebrity, and loneliness. She is literally on top of the world. No one has ever been as famous as in like the existence of the world. And she has no privacy. She feels like she is, again, like being caged and like an animal, and people are just doing experiments on her. Also the feeling of being replaced, like the Clara Bow of it all too. That's another big theme. Okay, and the last theme of this album is a criticism of the fans, of saying, stop telling me what to do with my life. I don't care about your opinions. This is my life. I want to date who I want to date. It is not about you. This is about me. And I think that's what this entire album is being portrayed, is saying, I literally don't give a shit about what my fans want. This is what I want to do for myself. I am putting this album out solely for myself and not for you, okay? I know people are giving harsher reviews because a lot of people are saying this album sounds the same. There's not a lot of, radio hits and whatever, but like, girl, not the point. Not the point of this album. She is making this album for herself and herself alone to process these feelings of this crazy crash and battle of a relationship. All right. Okay, let's get into the album. The first song we're going to be talking about is Fortnight, which is the hit single off of the album. And honestly, on first listen, I was so confused. I was like, there's cheating. Like, I don't know who this is about. Like all this kind of stuff. I was quite confused. And I also want to talk about the music video, and we're talking about Fortnight too. Okay, but we're going to get to that one in a second. Let's just start talking about the lyrics. I literally wrote like a 500-word essay on Fortnight alone. What am I doing with my life? My interpretation of Fortnight is that she is kind of looking back on this relationship and saying, we were together for a fortnight. We were together for a very small amount of time, and now we are not together, and you are ruining me. I love you, and it's ruining my life. I can't be with you. It's ruining me. Some of the, I guess, motifs in this song is that she was she's in an asylum in her own mind, which you can also see in the music video. It's just these two people who were together for a very short amount of time who now have to be civil, and they have to be around each other, and they see each other sometimes. I think that that is kind of equating to the fact that they have the same producer, they're running in the same social circles, all that kind of stuff. And she continues to say over and over and over again, I love you, it's ruining my life. And she's kind of alluding to that, like, I was in a state of self-harm. You know, like she's continually saying, I love you, it's ruining me. What a line, first of all, okay? So the next thing I want to point out is the lyric comparisons between this song and some songs off of Being Funny in a Foreign Language. The first one that I picked up on, which I haven't heard anyone else talk about yet, is that she says, I was a functioning alcoholic till nobody noticed my new aesthetic. In the 1975's first song in Being Funny in a Foreign Language, which is called the 1975, there's a specific lyric that says, you're making an aesthetic out of not doing well and mining all the bits of you think you can sell. So I don't know. I feel like that's a lyric comparison there. The other lyric comparison I want to point out in Fortnight is the comparison between this song and then When We Are Together from the 1975. So in Fortnight, she says, and for a fortnight there, we were together, run into you sometimes, comment on my sweater. And earlier in the song, she says, run into your sometimes, ask about the weather. Okay? Weather and sweater are important. If you go into the 1975's lyrics of When We Are Together, one of the big lines in that song is, you ask about the cows wearing my sweater, I say it's something about the weather. Direct lyric comparisons there, okay? And the last reason I feel like this song is about Matty Healy, and I think the most damning one, is that it says, I hope you're okay, but you're the reason, and no one here is to blame, but what about your quiet treason? Quiet treason. He silently ghosted her. That's the rumor of how they broke up. He literally just ghosted her and up and left. That's it. Quiet treason. Peace out. I'm out. I'm not telling you why. Okay, so those are kind of like my lyric comparisons from Fortnight. Again, I feel like this one's a little bit more grayish area in terms of like really damning about Matty Healy, but the music video though, let's talk about that because this is where the comparisons come in hot. The 1975 imagery is everywhere in this music video, okay? I want to point out the fact that the entire music video is in black and white. I already talked to you about how the 1975's aesthetic is black and white, okay? This whole album, the aesthetic was black and white and blue. Next thing we notice, Clara Bow makeup. Now she has the song Clara Bow, which harkens back to that, but also it is kind of a silent film type of makeup. Now, if you are familiar with the 1975's music video, go look at Change of Heart or I'm in Love with You. He's wearing silent film makeup. It's part of 1975 lore, and I think that is a direct comparison to the silent film makeup that Matty displays in those music videos. Next thing I want to point out, again, she's in an asylum, and she's like, I feel like the white part of that music video, like when we're first starting off, is like in her mind, she feels like in an asylum and she's feel like she's being trapped. And then she goes into the real world and she's typing her poems on her typewriter and he's typing his poems on his typewriter, like reflecting their mirror images of each other. They're both writing songs. They're both writing on typewriters. They're both these tortured poets, right? An interesting image that we do see is her and Matty, or excuse me, her and Post Malone lying on the ground. Okay. His tattoos have been removed because Matty does not have any tattoos. They are lying on the ground in trench coats. In trench coats. And if you have been to the 1975's latest concert, you would know that there is a scene where Matty is curled up next to his naked body and they are both in the same exact positions as she is in the music video with Post Malone. Okay, that is a literal direct imagery from the 1975. Cool? Got it. Okay. She's also reading the story of us. Like, this is our story. I also want to point out the fact that when they're both in their tortured poets department typing their poems, blue starts to come out of Post Malone's typewriter and hers is kind of like an orangish. I wasn't sure if that was signaling Midnight's, like this is the era she's in right now. And then blue is coming out of his. I think that is, yep. The next scene that I think is really important in this music video is the laboratory scene, okay? We see Taylor literally in the box. Remember how I said 1975, the box is like very important in their imagery as a band, okay? The box is everywhere. Taylor Swift is in the box. She's in the box and she is being experimented on. And if you notice, she's kind of wearing this like electromagnetic crown on her head. Well, in the 1975's music video part of the band, Matty Healy is wearing a crown that looks eerily similar to this, doesn't it? Another direct comparison from the tour, like I was talking about earlier, the lab coat imagery. Post Malone and seemingly Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff, who are played by the two men who were in the Dead Poets Society. They're all in lab coats. Matty Healy's bit for the last concert was that he was in a lab coat. Direct comparison. And he was wearing glasses, just as the same as Post Malone was wearing glasses in the music video, okay? So she's being experimented on in this box. The black dog walks across the screen. Part of the band music video, black dog walks across the screen. Also mentioning the black dog from the song on the album, okay? Literal, direct comparison. Last thing that I thought was really important, I actually didn't get this at first. I saw someone on TikTok talk about this. The phone booth scene where he's in the phone, first of all, very British imagery there with the phone booth. She is sitting on top of the phone booth. Matty Healy is very well known to get on top of things. During the concert, he literally climbs on top of the house that they're in. He constantly put his legs up on furniture. He's constantly going on top of furniture. I think that is a ode to that. I almost think it's also an ode to the poem by Stevie Nicks. She is in this very sparkly dress going up to the clouds, going above where Matty Healy is, and he can barely see her because he's on the phone, and then all of a sudden he comes out and tries to see her. Who knows? Could be, could be not, but I don't know. That's just my interpretation of it. So the music video is pretty damning for all of this being about Matty Healy. If this isn't about the 1975, I don't know what is. Truly. But there's more, okay? There's literally so much evidence. Okay, so next song we're gonna deep dive into is the Tortured Poets Department. Now, this is so obviously about Matty Healy to me, okay? Now remember how I was saying how Matty has this tortured poet aesthetic, all right? She's literally spelling that out in this song. That is what I think of this song. So first lyric, you left your typewriter at my apartment, straight from the Tortured Poets Department. Matty Healy has specifically stated in interviews before how he likes to write on a typewriter because it is permanent and you cannot erase it. So the stakes are higher. Next up, but you're in self-sabotage mode. Have I not talked to you about how he has been a drug addict and he has been canceled so many times, more than you can count, and he has said problematic things left and right, up and down? Self-sabotage mode if I've ever heard one. Throwing spikes down the road. Matty Healy is a well-known smoker. He smokes on his stage at his shows. He smokes everywhere. He smokes all the time. Okay, he's constantly seen with a cigarette in his mouth. Throwing spikes. The spikes are the cigarettes throwing down the road. That also is another line down the line. You smoked, then ate 7 bars of chocolate. Smoking. Again, there's a lot of references to drug use throughout this album as well. Matty Healy was a known drug user. She goes on into the chorus to say, you're not Dylan Thomas, I'm not Patti Smith, this ain't the Chelsea Hotel. If you don't know who Dylan Thomas and Patti Smith are, they are both well-known poets, and the Chelsea Hotel was a hotel that is in Manhattan, which housed a lot of poets and artists and musicians and like socialites and stuff like that. So that's what those lyrics are alluding to, basically saying we're not these famous poets. We're not at the Chelsea Hotel. Like, who do we think we are? We're modern idiots. I scratch your head, you fall asleep like a tattooed golden retriever. If that's not the most damning evidence right there, Matty Healy has tattoos. And remember how he looked at her at that concert? If that's not giving tattooed golden retriever, I don't know what is. But you awaken with dread, pounding nails in your head, but I've read this one where you come undone. Matty Healy, famously gotten canceled, has had very many times when he has been completely off the cuff, completely saying things that he should not be saying. He's come undone many, many times before, publicly come undone. But she says, I chose this cyclone with you. I am fully aware of this relationship I am entering into, and I am choosing to do this with you. This is her choice. This is her choice to enter into this relationship with him. And then we go back into the chorus, and then we get into these lyrics. But you told Lucy you'd kill yourself if I ever leave. Lucy is Lucy Dacus from Boy Genius, if you did not know that. And I had said that to Jack Antonoff about you, so I felt seen. Everyone we knew understands why it's meant to be. 'Cause we're crazy. Mental hospital, mental imagery. I think the most tragic lyrics in the song to me, because I think that this comes up later throughout the album. At dinner, you take my ring off my middle finger and put it on the one people put wedding rings on. And that's the closest I've come to my heart exploding. That killed me, honestly, that killed me, okay? Because she talks about how clearly this is about Matty Healy. They have talked about marriage. They've talked about kids. He literally has a song, I've been in love with her for ages. He has like these visions of them. This is the love of his life. Like, he's talked about this with her before, and they're talking about marriage, and they're talking about putting wedding rings on fingers and stuff. Whereas you see this imagery, but then you compare that to the imagery with Joe, where she's saying, I was standing at the altar waiting for you. Me Meanwhile, Matty is putting the ring on her finger, literally putting the ring on her finger, and Joe is leaving her at the altar. Bitch, this ain't about Joe Alwyn, okay? We've known. You're losing me. Taylor said I wouldn't marry me either. Joe did not want to marry her, okay? Oh my God, oh my God. I'm getting so heated. I am so passionate right now. And if you're new to my channel, I get passionate like this for books. Okay, cool. Just quick plug. Okay, so that's the Tortured Poets department. I hope I convinced you with that one. If not, there's more, baby. Okay, let's move on. There's the next few songs, My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. I do think that one's about Matty. There's not as much like damning evidence like the Tortured Poets department is. And also Down Bad, I also think is about Matty. So let's quick talk about My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, because while I don't feel like there is specific like that's about Matty Healy, I feel like the message overall is about Matty Healy. Okay, hi everyone. I know I am in a completely different outfit. I know it's a completely different day. I know this is not continuous with the previous footage, but I literally can't help myself. I filmed my initial clips like about 48 hours after the album had dropped, and like now that I keep listening to it over and over and over again, the layers keep unveiling themselves. I interpret new lyrics differently. I think about the songs differently. Like it just keeps getting better with age, and I feel like I can't not say my truth when my truth comes to me, okay? You're gonna see me change outfits about like 3 more times in this video, because like I literally just keep revealing new things and interpreting the music differently, and it's just like literally this isn't a masterpiece of an album, and I could actually like take a college course on this, okay? But right now we're gonna talk about My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, because I feel like the outro to this song, it lights something inside of me. Like it makes my soul actually leave my body. So I need to talk about it. First off, let's talk about the meaning of this song. Taylor said herself that this song means basically the person she's talking about gets so infatuated with things right when they get them. Right when he gets her, he is like treating her like a queen. She is the top of his world. It is the best thing that's ever happened to him in his life. But then now that he got her, they start, you know, not treating them as well as they did in the first place, or it's kind of like losing its shine. It's losing its sparkle. In the pre-chorus, she says, "'Cause you should have seen him when he first saw me." Like this guy is just infatuated with her when he first sees her, but then he ends up breaking her. It loses its intrigue. It loses its, you know, newness for this person, you know? The outro to this song is, I think, one of the best parts of the album, in my opinion. I like literally my soul leaves its body. Just say when, I'd play again. You guys, she is saying, just say when, I will do this again with you. I will play again with you. I will do it again. I still think about you. I still want to be with you. Just say when, I'd play again. He was my best friend down at the Sandlot. They continue to come back to this idea of best friends, of playing in parks, of sitting on swing sets. Like this person that she's talking about, Matty Healy, was her best friend. I think another thing that alludes to that too is that the idea of your best friend down at the Sandlot, that's something that you think of like a child, right? Like your kids when you're doing that stuff. And she has continuously thought about the idea that they were kids when they had first met, you know? Well, not actually kids, they were 25, but now in her 34-year-old lens, they were kids. Does that make sense? I felt more when we played pretend than with all the Kens. I felt more when we played pretend. I felt more with this person when we were playing pretend we're gonna get married, we're gonna have kids with each other. I felt more in that relationship than I did with any other man that I was ever with, that you've ever seen me be paraded around with. I felt more with that person when we played pretend. With my boy who breaks his favorite toys, Matty Healy, who just loved me when he first got me and then just put me on a shelf afterwards. I felt more when we played pretend than with all the Kens. What a line. Because he took me out of my box, stole my tortured heart. Stole my tortured heart. She's coming back to the idea that these two people throughout this album, this muse that she's talking about, they are both tortured hearts. Like I Lost My Twin, they are both these tortured poets. Left all these broken parts, told me I'm better off, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. She wants to be with him so bad, and it literally is like, it like makes me want to cry. It makes me want to cry. She loves this man so much. Like she wants to be with him so bad, and he said he is leaving her in all of her broken pieces and parts and saying, no, you're better off without me. I can't do this. And oh my God. Oh, I just want to shake Matty Healy. It's just like so infuriating. She just wanted him so bad. Okay, that's my soapbox for My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. Okay, so moving on to Down Bad. This one to me is about, they broke up and now she's down bad from it. She is crying at the gym. She is swearing. She is saying, I am so upset. I want to have him. I hate my life. If I can't have him, I want him. We can't be together. This song to me is a total bop. I am obsessed with it. And I just like, one thing that I love about these songs too, like this one, and then also I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. It's like, these are songs that it's just like the beat is so good, but then the lyrics are devastating and tragic. Comparisons that I see with this one. Did you take all my old clothes just to leave me here naked and alone in a field in my same old town that somehow seems so hollow now? Remember when I mentioned the imagery of Matty on the stage at the 1975 concert, him cradled up next to his body, his naked body in a field? I think that is a direct comparison to me there. The other things, encounters closer and closer, all your indecent exposures. Your indecent exposures? Is Matty Healy not the most indecent exposure ever? Joe doesn't do indecent exposures, babe. The other thing that I wanted to point out is Encounters. Encounter is a song from the 1975, which leads into Robbers. The other thing that I saw someone point out on TikTok is the lyric, I'll build you a fort on some planet where they can all understand it. Now, the 1975 kind of does these little like video clips on their YouTube where it's like these like little mini video series, a brief inquiry about an intimate moment or something along those lines. You know what I'm talking about if you know the 1975. They essentially do these like little mini short film clips, and in one of them he is sitting in a fort and he talks about how he feels forts are very comforting. That I had heard from someone who is a 1975 stan on TikTok. Other lyrics that stand out to me: how dare you think it's romantic, leaving me safe and stranded. He left her and said, you need to be safe because all of these people are attacking us and attacking our relationship, so I'm leaving you. And the other one is, I'm down bad like I lost my twin. And I think you could look at this in two ways. I know the Gaylors were looking at this like I lost my twin. Twin is like Carly Kloss. Okay, I don't think that this is about that, but who knows? If you do think about it, in the music video, they are paralleled next to each other when they're both kind of like leaning, looking at each other like Matty is in the concert, right? And they're both wearing the trench coats. They look like twins. And I think that could be a symbolization of that. There's Down Bad. That's my interpretation of Down Bad. Again, with all these songs, these are all up to our own interpretations. I'm just looking at it through the lens of a 1975 fan. Next song is So Long London. And I think the biggest thing I want to point out with this song is that the difference in how she talks about these relationships. So compare those other songs with like the Tortured Poets Department of this man who is saying, I want you, I want to be with you, to this. I kept calm and carried the weight of the rift, pulled him in tighter each time he was drifting away. The man previously was not drifting away in the Tortured Poets Department. He was saying, I want to marry you, I want to be with you, I want to be with you forever. This muse, drifting away. Two ships going away from each other. You left me at the house by the heath. This is not the same person she is talking about in those previous songs. You left me. You left me there. I was sitting there. I was waiting for you and you left me. Like, this is so obviously not the same person she is talking about in the Tortured Poets Department. I stopped CPR. Now, if that's not a reference to You're Losing Me, where there's literally the heartbeat playing as the beat of the song. The spirit was gone, we would never come to, and I'm pissed off that you let me give you all of that youth for free. All of that youth, all of that 6 years of youth. I gave that to you for free. She wasn't in a 6-year relationship with Matty. So different. I hope you are seeing what I am seeing. Holding tight to your quiet resentment. Clearly, this person who she is talking about resents her, is drifting away from her, does not want to be with her, is leaving her stranded, okay? All of these are definitely not pointing to the same person she is talking about in these other songs. Every breath feels like rarest air when you're not sure if he wants to be there. Clearly, she is talking about how this person does not really want to be with her. He is drifting away from her. He is stopping the CPR. He is letting her be by the heath by herself. Hope that makes sense. Okay, I feel like I honestly don't have to explain that anymore. That is a pretty obvious one about this relationship that has been there for a very long time. I gave you my youth for all these years, and now it's over, and it grew stale and cold and pale and done and dead. That's definitely the same exact feeling that we had when You're Losing Me. So we know that these songs are related to each other. Next song, But Daddy, I Love Him. Oh my God, this song sent me, first of all. Okay, I just want to say that this song, when I had first initially listened to it, really made me think of if this was a movie. That's it. It really made me think of if this was a movie, and it like really gave me OG Taylor vibes, which I kind of love. But I also think that can be alluding to the fans too, of like, she's saying to the fans, who the people who have been there like day one, like she's talking directly to the fans. But Daddy, I Love Him is a direct criticism of the fan base. She is really mad that people are telling her exactly how they want her to be and want her to feel and who she should date. And she is saying, stop. She is saying, you don't get to tell me what to do. I don't care about your speak now, speak up, whatever hashtags. I get to do what I want to do with my life. Let's just take a gander through these. I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather burn my whole life down. I would rather lose everything I have made, my entire empire, than listen to one more second of all this bitching and moaning. She's saying to her fans, shut the F up. Let me live my life. I'll tell you something about my good name, about the name that I created for myself. It's mine alone to disgrace. Stop telling me to get away from this person, that he's ruining me. I am the only person that can disgrace my own name. I don't cater to all these vipers dressed in empath's clothing. All of you fans who think you are the Lord's saviors, I don't care about what you say. I will do what I want. I am a grown-ass woman and I will do what I want. God save the most judgmental creeps who say they want what's best for me. She's like, literally, stop. Sanctimoniously performing soliloquies I'll never see. It's just this like massive juxtaposition of these people who are like, I am holier than thou and I know what Taylor Swift needs and wants and should be and have and whatever, but like not having any regard to her own feelings. They literally don't know her. We don't know her. I don't know her, okay? Thinking it can change the beat of my heart when he touches me and counteract the chemistry and undo the destiny. You ain't gotta pray for me and my wild boy and all this wild joy. Oh, that line. Oh my God. If all you want is gray for me, then it's just white noise and it's just my choice. She's saying F off. F the F off. I love that line though. Me and my wild boy and his wild and all this wild joy. Like, you know what? And here's the thing. Have you never been in a relationship that you were not supposed to be in? And like you knew, you're like going into this, you're like, yeah, this is not gonna be good. But I wanna do it anyway because my feelings are unbelievably overpowering to me because my feelings are so strong for this person. I don't care what anyone else says. I want to be with this person and I don't care what you say and I don't care what you think. The other thing is that this is literally a letter to the fans. And then she says, now I'm dancing in my dress in the sun and even my daddy loves him. She has talked to her family about this. They love him. They want to be with him. He was seen with him at the Philadelphia concert. Like, this is her life. It's not about us. Again, one of my favorite songs. I am obsessed. I hope that one makes sense. Basically, she's saying, back the F off. I get to do what I want with my love life and who I date. And it's not up to you to decide. Preach, Taylor. Just preach. Oh, and here's the other line too. I know he's crazy, but he's the one I want. She can't help it. She can't help the feelings that she has for him. Hasn't that ever happened to you? Like, come on, people. Come on. Holy shit. I've been doing this video for like 2 hours now. This is unreal. Song 7, Fresh Out the Slammer. So Fresh Out the Slammer to me is her saying, I have been in this long-term relationship for forever and now I'm fresh out. I know who my first call is to, and that is my man that I have been thinking about for years, who I met back in 2014. Okay. Now, pretty baby, I'm running back home to you. Fresh out the slammer. I know who my first call will be to. Another summer taking over. She's saying this is starting at the beginning of summer. Splintered back in winter. Silent dinner's bitter. Talking about her relationship with Joe. He was in her with dreams. So she's been thinking about him for a long time. Gray and blue. gray and blue, and fights in tunnels, handcuffed to the spell I was under. Camera flashes, welcome batches, get the matches, toss the ashes off the ledge. All of those lyrics are saying to me, like, the media is out to get us, they are coming for us, the fans are out to get us, and she like is fully aware that this is gonna happen. And then she goes on to say, to the one who says I'm the girl of his American dreams. Remember when he said yes she is right before he started playing She's American? Yeah, I think that one's a pretty obvious one to me. Next song is Florida. I'm not gonna go into Florida because honestly, okay, she's explained this to before, but like Florida is about her being like, you need some place to go when you want to run away from your life. I know there's rumors that Joe cheated in Florida. Honestly, I don't know. But like, Florida is an enigma to me. I don't know what happened in Florida. Did something happen to her in Florida? Like, I really don't know. But I get the vibe of what she's trying to say of like, I want to run away from my life, so I'm going to go to Florida because that's where everyone goes. And you can only be arrested in your own town, but I'm leaving and I'm going to Florida to get away from all of the bad things that are happening to me back in my hometown. Maybe they went to Florida and had a time in Florida. I don't know. I do really love that song though. That one specifically doesn't fit with what I am giving you my dissertation on, okay? Next up, we have Guilty as Sin, okay? This one, again, immediately about Matty Healy. Drowning in the Blue Nile, he sent me Downtown Lights. If you don't know, Downtown Lights is a song by the band The Blue Nile, in which Matty Healy has publicly proclaimed is his favorite band, and in which he sampled Downtown Lights in their song Love It If We Made It. I have put those two songs in the playlist and feel free to go and listen to them. I think the other thing is that the chorus says, what if he's written mine on my upper thigh? The 1975 has a song called Mine. And also remember when Taylor Swift sang Mine while he was at the show? The song Mine is about him wanting to be with a woman and wanting him to grow up and like how this woman is his, even if he is not there yet. Does that make sense? But overall, this song is about her kind of like fantasizing what this relationship could be. Maybe this was written right when they had started kind of reconnecting and talking again and like all that kind of stuff, because it's not actually talking about something that did happen. She's fantasizing about the things that haven't happened yet. Like, where is it? I keep recalling things we never did. Messy top lip kiss. How I long for our tryst without ever touching his skin. So they've never been together, but like she's longing for this idea of him. The next part that I think is so interesting in this, and I really think it just points out to Matty Healy. What if I roll the stone away? These are religious motifs here, religious ideas. What if they roll the stone away? If you're not Christian or you're not religious, rolling the stone away, that was like after Jesus rose from the dead, they like put him in a grave, they put him in a tomb, and they rolled the stone away and he wasn't there. Okay? They're gonna crucify me anyway. Again, religious motif right there. Again, she's talking about they're gonna crucify me because I want to be with you. And she fully is aware of this going into this relationship. The last few lines, I chose you and me religiously. Now, I think that this is really interesting because Matty Healy is a proclaimed atheist. He talks about it. He literally has a song called If I Believe You, which is him questioning religion and why should I believe in religion? He is speculating on the idea of religion and how beautiful it is to believe in something, but he doesn't believe in anything. And he talks about that a lot. Like that is like part of the 1975 lore. It's not even lore. It's just like one of the conversations that he likes to have in his music is about religion and how he doesn't believe in it and how he doesn't believe in anything. So I think it's a very interesting just call out to the fact that she's talking about, I want to be religiously devoted to you, even though you don't believe in anything. I don't know. Does that make sense? I saw that comparison. She goes on to say, what if the way you hold me is actually what's holy? If long-suffering propriety is what they want from me, they don't know how you've haunted me so stunningly. I choose you and me religiously. The religious motifs. Okay, the next song we have is Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? And I feel like I'm not gonna spend too much time on this one, but this one I feel like is a very reactionary song. This is a song completely about anger, and I feel like the anger to me is pointed mostly towards the fan base of she's saying, you raised me, you made me this circus animal, and I have been paraded around for years, and now you're calling me crazy. She feels like she is a caged animal and people are just like constantly at her throat and watching her and watching everything she does and judging her and like all this kind of stuff. It's just this outburst that is outpouring, especially now, like she's been a caged caged animal for so long, not only in her celebrity life where she is having to be a mirror ball and cater to the crowd, but also in this 6-year relationship. I've been caged in for 6 years, and now I'm leaping out, and I'm reacting to all of this pent up feelings that I've had for all of these years. That's my interpretation of the song. Again, she goes back to the asylum theme where you wouldn't last an hour in the asylum where they raised me, so all you kids can sneak into my house with all the cobwebs. I'm always drunk on my own tears. You know, like she's continuously going back to that like mental hospital asylum imagery, which is really effing sad. Like I can't even imagine how she feels in her like everyday life. And clearly she's talking about it. She feels like she's an experiment. No one else has ever been this famous before. Like it's wild. She's basically saying she is poised for the attack. She knows that people are going to come at her for this relationship. And just in general, people are going to come at her for whatever she does. And she's just like, back the F up. Like, leave me alone. Like, I am not afraid of you. I have been a caged animal like my whole life. And I'm just like, she is just feeling overwhelmed with the emotions that she's been like cooped up for so long and poised to attack the people who are coming at her and coming at her relationship. Not even relationship, just her in general. She's been caged for years, like in this relationship that she feels like she's been put in a box in. And yeah, people are coming at her for her choices now. Next song, I Can Fix Him, in parentheses, no really I can. Now, if this is not the most 1975 Matty Healy coded song, this one and then The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, it's just damning evidence. So if you're not familiar with the 1975, quite a few of their songs are, they're track titles. Like there's one song called If You're Too Shy, in parentheses, Let Me Know. And they do that on multiple songs throughout their discography. So she's kind of alluding to that with this title in the parentheses there. So the smoke cloud billows out his mouth. Like I said, Matty smokes. The jokes that he told across the bar were revolting and far too loud. We've already covered this. Matty tells revolting jokes. Matty says crass things, off the cuff things, controversial things. Obviously, literally, first stanza, it's about him. They shake their heads saying, God help her when I tell him he's my man. And then this whole song is about her being like, no, I really can fix him. I can fix him. I can do this. You know, it's always such a trope that we want to try and fix these broken people, right? Like not just women, but you know, it is a trope that you want to fix the broken person. She's saying she can fix this guy who's like just troubled and broken and in pieces. And she says, whoa, no, maybe I can't. And another line that alludes to Matty Healy in here, the dopamine races through his brain, basically alluding to the fact that he does drugs and the dopamine is racing through his brain, literally. Oh man, next up, track 12, LOML. I firmly think this one's about Matty. Okay, no, at first listen, thought this was about Joe, but I didn't have the lyrics in front of me, and deep diving into the lyrics, I really think this one's about Matty. And I think that you can also blur lines in songs too. Like, while I think she could be talking both about Matty and Joe, but I do think the lyrics lean more towards Matty than they do about Joe. And like I just said, I don't think a song has to be about one specific person, the entire thing, but like it leans Matty. And let me explain why. And I feel like this one people may disagree with me on, and I'm okay with that, but like let me show you my evidence here, okay? First line, who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames, okay? Rekindled, they are kindling something that was once there. It was once there and it is not there anymore. Now you could also think about this, and this is how I thought about it first. Maybe she's going back to Joe for a little bit. Maybe something happened where it's like they split up and they're going back to each other one more time or something. You could think of it like that. I am thinking of it as rekindled flames, rekindling back from 2014. If we know the steps anyway, we embroidered the memories of the time I was away. So there was a time that they were away from each other. Again, could be about Joe. Maybe they had a little break and then they were on again, off again. It could be, but you could also think of it as that she was away for a long time. But then the next line is, I think, what alludes to it being Matty more, stitching, we were just kids, babe. So she's talking about we were kids when we had first kindled our romance. And that's what makes me think it's a little bit more about Matty. There's more. The next line is, I said, I don't mind, it takes time. So she's basically saying, you know what, we were just kids back then, but we're here now, and sometimes it takes things to rekindle these romances. And then, oh my God, the next few lines, I felt a glow like this, never before and never since. Dagger through my effing heart. Okay. We go on to the chorus, which says, if you knew it in one glimpse, it's legendary. You and I go from one kiss to getting married. Again, instant, like it's an instant connection. Something is happening very, very quickly. Tortured Poets department, like I mentioned earlier. Next line goes on to say, still alive, killing time at the cemetery. If you want to take this literally, Matty has done a photo shoot at a cemetery before. But you could also think of it, still alive, killing time at the cemetery, never quite buried. We had this relationship that was sitting at the cemetery. We never actually fully buried it. It's never really done yet, and we're bringing it back. In your suit and tie, Matty Healy wears a suit and tie. All the concerts, he's in a suit and tie. That's his aesthetic, okay? You Holy Ghost, again, the religious motif there. You told me I'm the love of your life. You said I'm the love of your life about 1,000,000 times. Heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. Oh my God. When you blew in with the winds of fate and told me I reformed you. Who needs reforming? Who needs reforming? Not Joe Alwyn. Continuing on, a con man sells a fool a get love quick scheme. So she's talking about this person, this subject of this song is a con man who's selling a fool, her, Taylor Swift, a get love quick scheme. She's talking, this person, it was a get love quick scheme. Joe Alwyn, the 6-year relationship is not a get love quick scheme. Matty Healy was a get love quick scheme. Also a con man. Joe Alwyn's not a con man. But I felt a hold like this never before and ever since. And again, lines could be blurred. Lines could be blurred. We can be talking about two things at one time. Totally true. We go back to the chorus and then we come back with another verse. You shit talked me under the table. There were literally TikToks of him shit talking Taylor Swift after they broke up. Talking rings and talking cradles. Him putting the ring on her finger. I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all. Dagger in my heart. Dancing phantoms on the terrace. That phantoms idea will come back later in a different song. It was legendary. It was momentary. It was momentary. So she's talking, this relationship she's talking about was a brief stint of time. And the last stanza as well, again, I think this one's a kicker too. Oh, what a valiant roar. What a bland goodbye. The coward claimed he was a lion. I'm combing through the braids of lies. I'll never leave, never mind. Our field of dreams engulfed in fire. Your arsons match your somber eyes. You're the loss of my life. So I think the valiant roar, it's like, oh my gosh, this thing blew up in flames. It was huge. It was sparkling. It was like unlike she's never anything she experienced before. What a bland goodbye. He ghosted her. And again, okay, this is just my perspective. I also, you could look at this and say Joe Alwyn too. I really do think you could, but I think the momentary part, that one leaned more Matty to me. The we were just kids, babe, talking about a rekindled flame, and then a con man sells a fool a get love quick scheme. I think that one's pretty damning as well. And then the cemetery, I think you could literally see that one with the Matty comparison, but you know what? It's up to interpretation. This is how I'm choosing to interpret it. You can choose to interpret it however you want. I think you could make a case for Joe Alwyn here too, but this is just what I'm seeing. This is what my heart feels, okay? And again, we may never know. We may never know. This song is honestly heartbreaking though. I think this is one of my favorite songs on the album. It is one of the most devastating songs I think Taylor Swift has ever written. For real. We're juxtapositioning the saddest breakup song she's ever written. We're going on to I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, an absolute bop with the depressing lyrics. Obviously, this is about her breakup and her being on the Eras tour and just being like, I can fake it till I make it. And lights, camera, bitch, smile. What a line. I feel like I don't need to explain that song. It's pretty obvious. And I feel like that one doesn't necessarily, that one just more alludes to the fact that she was literally on tour with a broken heart, which is really effing sad. And it's just like sad to see some of those TikToks and clips of her just like obviously being incredible, but also like crying, and she's smiling, and she knows she can do it. She's literally the best in the world at this. I want to let you know, I'm not going through the entire anthology. I'm not going through the entire back half. I'm going to point out some songs that I do think are important to my dissertation, but the first half of the album is literally all about Matty Healy, with the exception of a few songs that I've talked about, okay? Hi everyone, I am fully aware this is a completely different day, completely different look. I know this is not YouTube PC to jump around, and for continuity's sake, this is not flowing the way that you would expect, but you know what? Things are coming out. I am realizing things every single day, and when I was editing my footage in talking about The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, I just did not do it with justice, and it needs to be done with justice, okay? I can't gatekeep my knowledge. I can't not feel as passionate about this song as I truly feel. Like, I need to live in my truth, and the way that I was discussing The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived was just not with enough passion as I actually feel about the song, so I'm redoing it, okay? Let's go through The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, because I think, I gotta be honest with you, after listening to this album for like 3 or 4 days, I think this is the best song on the album. This or LOML. Like, I can't decide between the two. I think this is one of the most devastating breakup songs, the most twist the knife breakup songs she's ever written. I need to go through it line by line because it's that important. First off, can we just start off with the breathing in this song? It takes the song to an entirely new level. Like, she's literally on the brink of tears the entire time, and it just tears you apart. Like, the breath at the beginning, like, oh my God, sends me, okay? Was any of it true? Gazing at me starry-eyed. Remember when he was gazing at her starry-eyed during the concert? I do. In your Jehovah's Witness suit, we all know Matty loves to wear suits. It's literally his uniform. Who the F was that guy? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna swear, but like, literally, who? You tried to buy some pills from a friend of friends of mine. Oh my God, this next line. We also know, I've already talked about, he uses drugs. They just ghosted you, and now you know what that feels like. She was ghosted by him. Also, another Easter egg, the Target editions for this vinyl are on ghosted, in quotes, vinyl. Like, ghosted clear vinyl. She was ghosted by him. She's just Easter egging it everywhere and literally telling us in this sentence, now you know what it feels like to be ghosted. Matty Healy, oh my God. And I don't even want you back. I just want to know if rusting my sparkling summer was the goal. Like, did you intend to make me feel this terrible? The start of my Eras tour, the start of the biggest world tour of all time. Did you intend to do this to me? Like, oh. And I don't miss what we had, but could someone give a message to the smallest man who ever lived? She's saying, I don't miss this anymore. I don't need you anymore. But someone send him this message. And I think it's really important to point out, in the actual record, there is a break between and I don't miss with what we have, and then it breaks line here. A message to the smallest man who ever lived. So she's literally like introducing, this is the message here, the smallest man who ever lived. I think that's genius, and I love how she did that. Another breath. And also the whole time, it's super soft and calm, and then it's like once you hit that bridge, it's like boom, boom, like just incredible. You hung me on your wall, stab me with your push pins. Basically, like, he's saying she is like this work of art. In public, showed me off. They were parading around New York City together, going in and out of the studio together, going out to dinner together, all that kind of stuff. In public, showed me off, then sank in stoned oblivion. Like, we know, we've already talked about, he smokes and does drugs, all that kind of stuff. So like, this is obviously about Matty Healy. Like, there's literally no question about it. Also, wait, the other thing I didn't even point out at the beginning, the smallest man who ever lived, it's a joke in the 1975 community and like the 1975 lore that Matty appears taller in person than you would expect. Like, everyone jokes that he's a short king, and then like he'll like post on his Instagram or something like, oh my God, I met a fan today and like they said I was taller than I expected or something like that. Like, it's like a running joke in the 1975 that Matty's short, and like the fact that she's also like alluding to that too. It's all of the things. Do you know what I mean? Because once your queen had come, you'd treat her like an also ran. Okay, a few different things to break down in this line. So an also ran is basically, I looked this up, it basically means like, say like you're running in track and field. You're not the winner. You're an also ran. You didn't win. You didn't like get first or second, or you didn't place at all. You're just an also ran. Like, you also ran the race. And then the whole message of that sentence, I actually think reflects My Boy Only Breaks His Bad Toys, where it's like, you're with this guy and he's so infatuated with you the minute that like he sees you. Remember how she said like, you should have saw him when he first saw me. And then it's like that luster wears off, or that like that sparkle and shine wears off, and then now you treat her like an also ran. Now you don't treat her like the first prize. Now you treat her like, oh yeah, she's just another like thing in my life. That's what she's saying there. You didn't measure up, in any measure of a man. Now, I think this line is really interesting. I think there's like a double meaning there. In one way, you can look at it like personality-wise, you didn't measure up to what a man should be, but also literally. And I hope you catch my drift, okay? Literally. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, once we go through the chorus again, we get to the bridge. I think this is the best part of the album. It's like she's building up to this scream, okay? She's building up to this just twisting knife, like this bridge is what you want to scream cry to and just like release emotion. Like the way that it just like builds and builds and builds, and the way that the lines and the lyrics just dig the knife in deeper. Oh my God. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? I think that could even, not 100%, but I think that could also be a reference to Robbers, which is all about like, now that you've got your gun, it's much harder now the police have come. Like Robbers kind of references, not 100% sure, but like just as a 1975 fan connecting those dots. I don't know. But also literally, like, was he trying to destroy her? Was he trying to destroy her life? Like, was he trying to just rip her apart to pieces? Like, what was his intention with this? Were you writing a book? Were you a sleeper cell spy? Like, was he spying on her? Like, what was the deal here, bro? In 50 years, will all of this be declassified? Unbelievable line, because like I said before, Matty Healy tends to just like spew his mouth sometimes and like say things he shouldn't say. Literally, there's a part of the concert, if you went to the concert, where he will just like sit there and talk to the crowd about like whatever is on his mind, and he will like say things he shouldn't say literally all the time. Talking about whatever, like politics, gender roles, religion, like literally any controversial topic, he will give his opinion on it, like no cap. That's a Gen Z term I shouldn't say. And then you'll confess why you did it, and I'll say good riddance, because it wasn't sexy once it wasn't forbidden. Matty has this like allure about him that, again, if you get it, you get it. He has just like this allure about him that he's just like this tortured artist, bad guy, frontman, rock star. You know what I mean? It's like that vibe. You know, once it wasn't forbidden for her anymore, she did not find it attractive. She did not find it intriguing or interesting. And then this next line, I think this is one of the most devastating lines that she's ever written, if not ever written. I can't even think of another line that compares, except in All Too Well 10-minute version. I can't remember the exact lyric off the top of my head, but she says, I wanna die. It made me wanna die. I think that's the only other lyric that I can compare. This lyric, I would have died. I would have died for your sins. Instead, I just died inside. Can we take a minute to process that lyric? I would have died for your sins. She is saying, I would have given it all up. I would have given everything. I would have stood by you. I would have defended you. I would have done everything for you. I would have killed who I am, my entire life, my entire career, everything for you. Instead, you left me, and I just was left here dying inside. Oh my God. If that doesn't want to make you just like roll around the floor and cry your eyes out and scream cry to the heavens, like I don't know what does. That is the most unbelievable, devastating line you could ever write. Like literally, this person who is on top of the world is saying, I would give it all up for you. Literally, I could cry. Unbelievable. And you deserve prison, but you won't get time. You'll slide into inboxes and slip through the bars. You crash my party and your rental car. Another just reference there. Matty Healy is a chronically online person. He dates like internet girls and stuff like that. And like you'll slide into inboxes, like sliding into DMs, all that kind of stuff. You said normal girls were boring, but you were gone by the morning. Also interesting, boring is in quotes there. It's interesting that that's in direct quotes. You kicked out the stage lights, but you're still performing. He's a singer. He's still performing. He's still going on. He's still performing, giving this act of this cool, mysterious rock star guy, whatever. He's still performing. He's still putting on this show that he's fine. And in plain sight you hid, but you are what you did, and I'll forget you, but I'll never forgive the smallest man who ever lived. Honestly, I think this song is up there. This song, LOML and Would've, Could've, Should've, and All Too Well 10 are probably the most devastating songs she's ever written. Like, I can't think of another one that is off the top of my head that I feel this way about. I'm not even kidding you. It's just unbelievable the way she can write. And oh man, I'm so unwell. I was literally crying on the way home from work today listening to Peter, and like I can't handle my emotions with this. Like I am a happily married woman. Like, oh my God. It's just the backstory behind it all. If you understand, you understand. I really hope this is helping bring things together and help things make more sense to people who don't understand like the backstory behind this album, because it's honestly so devastating. Like, it's so devastating. She had this idea of this guy who is just, they just match on all of these levels, these artistic levels, like just their brains just like flow with one another. And then all of a sudden they finally try to make it happen and it blows up in her face and their face. And it's just devastating to me. Oh, I can't get over it. It really is a tortured poet thing. Okay, back to me the other day. Thanks. We go from this heart-wrenching pointing fingers song to The Alchemy, which is obviously about Travis. And I want to point out in this song, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but like all the sports references. Love how the sign on your heart, his 87, is still reserved for her. The 13, that sent me. Another thing is that when he says, he jokes that it's heroin, but this time with an E, Matty did heroin. And this time it's with an E. No, I love that song. That one is such a great song. And then we end the first half of the album with Clara Bow. This very much is giving nothing new, like her thinking about the replacements in Hollywood and how she, eventually it's going to get turned over, and she feels like it's like her image, the image of the ever-present starlight in Hollywood, and she is taking Clara Bow's place. She's taking Stevie Nicks' place. Literally taking Stevie Nicks' place with this tortured poet's romance relationship. She's literally taking Stevie Nicks' place. And then someone's coming after her to take her place. And people speculate she was talking about Olivia Rodrigo, because it says, you've got the edge she never did. The future's bright. And it's so sad. Like this, I can't even imagine the feeling. Like, I don't even know what that would even ever feel like, but it's just, oh my God. Okay, so that's the entirety of the first album broken down to you. I hope you enjoyed my dissertation on that. I want to point out a few songs on the back half of the album as well, which I do think are about Matty. The Black Dog, number numero uno. This one, originally, I was like, I didn't know if it was about Joe or if it was about Matty, but when you dig more into the lyrics, definitely about Matty. First of all, The Black Dog, we're also referencing, remember that reference from the part of the band music video, the black dog literally walking across the screen? Yes. So that's number one. Number two is when someone plays The Starting Line. The Starting Line is a band, which on May 3rd, 2023, Matty covered The Starting Line's The Best of Me song at his concert. So that is just evidence right there. The fact that we know that this is one of Matty Healy's favorite bands, and she's literally name dropping. Another imagery that was just like absolutely heart-wrenching as well is when, I just don't understand how you don't miss me in the shower and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. Do you hate me? Was it hazing? Like, that makes me want to cry, honestly. Oh, it's just so vulnerable. It's so vulnerable. Here we go again with another smoking reference. 6 weeks of breathing clean air. I still miss the smoke. Literally. So yeah, The Black Dog I definitely do think is about Matty as well, just for those references that I just gave you. The next song on the anthology is I'm Gonna Get You Back. This is a direct comparison to Falling For You from the 1975. Not only in the song titles, if you look at the song titles, I'm Gonna Get You Back, all one word. Falling For You, all one word. She also parallels references from Falling For You in this. So in Falling For You, there is a reference about a bike. He says, all we need is my bike in your enormous house. In I'm Gonna Get You Back, she says, I'm gonna smash up your butt and take you back to my house. And then another part of this song that I also think reflects the 1975 as well is the intro. The intro to this song is literally a direct reference to Looking for Somebody to Love. The intros to these songs sound exactly the same. Hi guys, again, different outfit. What's up? I have really sat with these next few songs that I'm going to be talking to you about, and I think that these are some of the most telling and revealing songs on the album about how she felt about her relationship with Matty Healy, okay? The first one we're going to be talking about is Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. This one breaks my heart. Breaks my freaking heart, and I'm still kind of processing it, but I want to tell you the thoughts that I've had after listening to it like 40 times, okay? So first of all, I want to talk about the title, Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. Matty Healy is a very like sexually fluid man, okay? Like he said in one of his songs before, he's dated a man and it was kind of boring. He literally said that. And like I said before, he gets up on stage, he kisses men, he kisses women, like he's just like a sexually fluid individual. We love it. Already first off, you have the idea that it's likely Matty Healy because he's publicly open about his sexuality. First verse, we start off with, your hologram stumbled into my apartment, hands in the hair of somebody in darkness named Chloe, Sam, or Sophia, or Marcus. You know, she's seeing this person who's not actually there. She's imagining he's stumbling into her apartment with someone new. And I just watched it happen. And I just watched you stumble into my apartment with someone else. As the decade would play us for fools. As the decade that they were not together. As the decade would play us for fools. A whole 10 years, 2014 to 2024, they had potentially thought that they were going to have this relationship, that they were both building it up in their heads, that it's going to come to fruition. It played us for fools. It just didn't happen. And you watched my bones out with somebody new. Travis Kelce, who seemed like he would have bullied you in school. Okay, not to be stereotypical here, but like the big footballer likely would have bullied the musical theater kid. Okay, that's a stereotype, but that's what she's saying there, in my opinion. And you just watched it happen. And you just let me go on these dates and you didn't do anything. And you just watched me do it. If you want to break my cold, cold heart, just say I loved you the way that you were. If you want to tear my world apart, just say you've always wondered. Oh my God, though. She's like, I'm not asking. Just tell me you've always wondered. Just tell me that you loved me. Ugh. Verse 2, I'm sorry, I'm going through this one line by line because I think this one's really important. You said some things that I can't unabsorb. Matty Healy has always, literally, I've talked about this whole video about how he says very controversial things. He says things he shouldn't say, all that kind of stuff. He has soliloquies on stage of like, random whatever. You turned me into an idea of sorts. You needed me, but you needed drugs more. They were both having this idea of like their phantoms and whatever, and like of who each other was, but he also needed drugs more, and I couldn't watch it happen. I changed it to goddesses, villains, and fools. I think this line is so interesting. Goddesses, I'm thinking from like the Karma music video. She was like a goddess in that video. Villains, reputation, and fools. I've equated fools to like folklore where she's like telling all the stories. Changed plans and lovers, literally album, name drop right there, and outfits and rules. All to outrun my desertion of you, and you just watched it. I also think those previous lines, I changed into goddesses, villains, and fools, and the changed plans, lovers, and rules, that could also be alluding to the Eras tour as well. All to outrun the bridge. If the glint in my eye traced the depths of your sigh, down that passage in time, back to the moment. We're going back to the moment we met. I crashed into you like so many wrecks do, too impaired by my youth to know what to do. Like, she's thinking about that time when they first met, and she was like too impaired by her youth, or they're too young and they like don't know how to deal with the emotions that they have, all that kind of stuff. This, you guys, this line is a kicker. So if I sell my apartment and you have some kids with an internet starlet, okay, Matty Healy famously dates internet starlets. His last girlfriend, or one of his previous girlfriends, was Charlotte de Blasso, who is an internet starlet, literally, and also Charlotte rhymes with internet starlet. Will that make your memory fade from the scarlet maroon? Direct quote from Midnight's from the song Maroon. Are you kidding me? Now that there's speculation, just because of that lyric, that Maroon is about Matty Healy, keep in mind, Maroon was played 3 times during the Eras tour. 3 times. 3 times. And she played it for the first time at Foxborough, in which she stated, this song is about something that happened in New York City a long time ago. The concert that Taylor Swift went to was in New York City in 2014, a long time ago. Just gonna leave that there. And then she proceeded to play it 3 times, 3 more times on the Eras tour, okay? I really think Maroon is about Matty Healy now, which it does honestly all make sense. Matty Healy would have a vinyl shelf. He would have incense. Probably. Also now that totally confirmed. I mean, maroon, we've always kind of wondered if there's that double meaning of like, yeah, it's the maroon of the color of the wine that she spilled on his t-shirt. He spilled on her t-shirt or whatever, but also the double meaning of maroon. You're leaving me. You're leaving me. And I think that song has a double meaning as well. So from this Scarlet Maroon, it's literally same thing, double meaning there. Like it never happened. You guys, this next line, this whole verse, it's just like unreal. Could it be enough to just float in your orbit? Could it be enough? Could it be enough for my soul if I just float in your orbit, if we can never be together? Can we watch our phantoms like watching wild horses? She continuously comes back to this idea of phantoms, that they're two dancing phantoms. And she has this, they both have the idea of the phantom of them in their head. Cooler in theory, but not if you force it to be. It just didn't happen. Like she's just, oh my God, that is some of the most heartbreaking lyrics. Could it be enough to just float in your orbit? Like, is the fact that we just float in each other's lives, in and out of each other's lives sometimes, is that enough? How is this not breaking your heart? I hope this is breaking your heart. I hope you can listen to this song and actually cry, because I've literally cried like 5 times listening to this. Okay, and then we go back to the chorus again, and then the outro. 'Cause I wonder, will I always wonder? She's always gonna wonder, what if this actually worked out? What if we could actually be together? That song tears me to shreds. It's just this like yearning of, I want this person so bad. I want to be with this person so bad, but we can't. It just didn't work out. But I always will have this idea of this person in my head. But like in reality, it just did not work out. It just did not happen. I am at a complete loss for words. Like that song it explains so much, and it's one of the most beautiful, heartbreaking songs on this album. And if you disagree, you're not listening, okay? The next song I want to go into that I do think is really important is How Did It End? Now, I do think that this is just general and overall discussion about how she feels when a relationship doesn't work out. I don't necessarily think this is about Matty or about Joe or about anyone else she's ever, had a relationship that didn't work out. I think it's kind of all in one, but there are some specific lines that do point to at least part of the song being about Matty. Come one, come all, it's happening again. The empathetic hunger descends. People are being like, oh, what happened? How did it end? Oh my gosh. Like that kind of stuff where it's like the people are trying to be so nice and sweet, but it's like this hidden meaning of like, tell me more. I need to know how it ended. Do you know what I mean? Just a few lines in this song that I really want to point out that I'm not speculating they're about one type of person or another, but I just think that they're really, really poignant, beautiful lines. We were blind to unforeseen circumstances. We didn't know what was going to happen. We learned the right steps to different dances. I think this one is, again, it doesn't have to be about Matty, but like if you're thinking about it, they're both these like musicians. They both learned the right steps to how to be in their career, to how to be successful in this career. We both learned those right steps to different dances. Like they're in two totally different like orbits, like they're both successful, but it's like different in a different way from each other, and fell victim to interlopers' glances. They fell victim to other people who were involved and looking in on the situation, their glances. This line, lost the game of chance. What are the chances? Lost the game of chance. We took a chance on this relationship. We're trying this relationship. We're going to go for it. We're going to try. Let's see what people think. Let's just do it. Let's just take a chance on us. What are the chances that we lost that game? Thinking about that sentiment that like, oh, let's just take a chance. But what if we do? What if we just take a chance on this and it doesn't work out? You have so much hope. You have so much hope of like, this is going to happen. This is going to work out, and it doesn't. What are the chances? What are the chances of that? Oh, Taylor, I see you. I see you. And then the bridge here. The bridge. Say it once again with feeling. How the death rattle breathing, silenced as the soul was leaving. Remember, he ghosted her, silenced, just silent as he left. The deflation of our dreaming. We had these dreams for each other. We had these dreams of when we were together, and it's just deflating before our eyes, leaving me bereft and reeling. My beloved ghost and me. She's sitting with the ghost of this relationship. Remember, he ghosted her. He's literally a ghost. My boyfriend who ghosted me, Matty Healy, sitting in a tree, DYING. Literally, I don't know. I think those ones kind of like point to Matty Healy, but at the same time could be about anyone. I just like this song. This song destroys me. And honestly, you know, when I had first listened to this back half, the anthology, I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like we had to have an entirely, like, I feel like it got like kind of bloated at the end. When you like really listen to these songs, like some of these are the most telling on the entire album. Now moving on to the last one, I have so many thoughts about that I didn't do justice the first time I talked about it, okay? Peter. This is directly about Matty Healy. We know this because she said, this song is about you. You know who you are. I love you. Right before she played Cardigan, which is a interpretation of Peter and Wendy. And Peter and Wendy from Peter Pan are brought into that song. The other thing that draws the connection between this song and Matty Healy is that before the 1975 was the 1975, they were called Drive Like I Do, and they had a song called Lost Boys. It's already been established that the 1975 is akin to the Lost Boys of like Peter Pan and the Lost Boys. Okay? So it's just like, there's literally no question about who this song is about if you understand those references. Forgive me, Peter, my lost fearless leader in closets like cedar, preserved from when we were just kids. She keeps going back to the idea that they were just kids when they met in the sandlot, in the parking lot, in the swing set, all that kind of stuff. Is it something I did? The goddess of timing once found us beguiling. She said she was trying to pull the string. She was trying to get it work. The timing where she was trying for us. Peter, was she lying? My ribs get the feeling she did. She must have been lying because it didn't work out for us. And I didn't want to come down. I thought it was goodbye for just now. This part, the chorus where she's saying, you said you were going to grow up, then you were going to come find me. She continues to repeat it. She continues to repeat it. And I think that this is so beautiful because it's like, I feel like this could go a few different meanings. Like she's like almost bargaining with him. Like, you said you were going to do this. You said you were going to do it. Like continuing to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it to try and convince him to hold up his promise to come back to her. The other way I think you could look at it is she's, you know, this whole album is almost talking about how she feels like she is in like a mental hospital and stuff. And could this be her continually repeating something in that kind of a sense of like, I'm going crazy, I'm repeating myself so many times? I kind of don't think so. I kind of think it's more of like a bargaining, like I'm trying to like convince you to uphold your word to me. Words from the mouths of babes, promises oceans deep. So like, he said that to her when they had first met. Like, I'm going to come and find you. I'm going to grow up and I'm going to come and find you. Promises oceans deep. They live on 2 different continents. Oh my God. Are you still a mind reader? A natural scene stealer? He's the front man of a band. He literally gets up on stage and eats raw meat. He is a scene stealer. Remember when that happened? If you're a 1975 fan and you remember that time? Didn't he get sick because of that? I think he did. Then he stopped doing it. Ugh, I love you, Matty Healy. I've heard great things, Peter, but life was always easier on you than it was on me. And sometimes it gets me when crossing your jet stream. What a line. Like, crossing jet streams. They both in their private planes or whatever. We both did the best we could do underneath the same moon in different galaxies. She's continuing to come back to that idea of they're both in each other's orbits, but they're never in the same spot. They're never actually aligned with each other. We go back to the chorus again and then into the bridge. Listen to this. Listen to this. And I won't confess that I waited, but I let the lamp burn. So even when he said he was going to come back for her, she waited for him. She was waiting. The men masqueraded. I'd hope you returned. There was a revolving door of men, and I was waiting for you to come through. I was waiting for you to come through the door with your feet on the ground. Tell me all that you learned, because love's never lost when perspective is earned. She's like, I'm not giving up on this love. I'm not giving up on this love, because even if you come back around, we still got something from it. We still earned perspective on it. And you said you'd come and get me, but you were 25. They were 25 when they met. And the shelf life of those fantasies has expired. Lost to the Lost Boys, in quotes, Lost Boys chapter of your life. Like I said, they had a song called Lost Boys. They were literally the Lost Boys. Forgive me, Peter. She's asking for forgiveness. Please know that I tried. I tried to wait for you. I was waiting for you. I tried. I tried to hold on to the days when you were mine. I tried to hold on. Oh my God, I'm literally starting to cry. But the woman who sits by the window has turned out the light. She's waited for so long. And again, this is like, she waited at the first time around when they were like they had first initially sparked this connection. They had waited. And then who knows, maybe she waited again after he ghosted her. I don't know, but it just is heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking. Like, I am so unwell. I'm so unwell. Okay, and then just like a few other call outs from the rest of the anthology. Manuscript is also kind of like this wrapped up reflection on this entire relationship. And she is saying at the end of the song, this story isn't mine anymore. It's yours now. It's the fans now. I'm putting it out into the world now. And also there are more songs on the anthology that are really interesting to deep dive into, like Thank You, Amy, like the whole Kim Kardashian thing, So High School, like the Grand Theft Auto stuff, like what's going on there. But then also the albatross too, like protecting your love from the media and the public. I think that's a really beautiful message. But I really wanted to deep dive into the ones that I feel like extremely passionate about in this moment and give it like 2 more days. And I'm going to be extremely passionate about like 5 other songs on this anthology, but I need to get this video out as soon as I can. And then the last thing I wanted to go over is that there are other references throughout Taylor's works that could possibly be mentioning Matty, and then also some songs from the 1975 that also potentially are talking about Taylor. So I just kind of want to go over those real quick. So now that we have this context, right? She said that Cardigan literally is about Matty on stage. So there's that one, and then the other one that people are speculating is about Matty is The One from Folklore. She literally pulls a line straight from their discography from Robbers. The line is, if you'll never bleed, you're never gonna grow. That's like literally a direct line from the 1975 Robbers. Another one people are thinking that is pointing to Matty is Cowboy Like Me. I don't know the exact references from that one, but like just knowing the song's message about how it's this, like they're kind of like 2 conmens, and then like the line, now you hang from my lips like the gardens of Babylon, like this phantom, like they were never there. Oh my God, it just literally sends me, because the Gardens of Babylon were not actually a thing. Oh my God, I literally like deep dove into that song one day. It's the most stunning, beautiful message behind it, and it's just all these secret meanings and stuff. It's just so beautiful. Hi guys, I know I'm back with an outfit change again, but we gotta talk about this. I know I'm talking about Cowboy Like Me right now and how this is speculated to be about Matty Healy, but like, okay, evidence is getting more for real. So I just saw this video clip from February 12th, 2020, the NME Awards. The 1975 won an award, and Taylor Swift was in attendance at this awards show. And in going up on stage, he is accepting the award. He is talking about one of his role models, and he says that you can either be a farmer where you like stay and cultivate your land, or you can be a cowboy and go and like pave new paths, find new land, trove the wild or whatever, looking for the next adventure. The advice he gives to the crowd is be a cowboy. I mean, I'm not saying it's for sure about him, but like the references are there. I'm just telling you the evidence. It's up to us to do what we want to do with that. But I'm just saying. I'm sure that there's so much more, and I'm sure I'm going to upload this video tomorrow, and then there's going to be like a bunch more stuff that comes out that I'm like, I forgot that, and I forgot that, and I forgot that, or I didn't see that, or like this is all new. But like, oh my God, I just like, I can't get over this. I literally can't get over it. Okay, back to the other clips. And then in referencing the 1975 songs, the few that I've heard that are likely about Taylor, the one that like people are pretty sure about is About You, which was played coming into the stadium like pre-concert. It was literally played before the show while Lover, the music video, was being played on the screen. Like, also Matty literally said it's about her, so we know that it's about her. Other ones are Me and You Together song, which I had mentioned. He like alluded to that being about her in one of his concerts. And then the other one people are thinking of is When We Are Together, because of the lyric comparisons from that song to Fortnite, which, and maybe it's not about her, maybe she's just pulling the lyric comparisons there, but like, Who knows? Before I move on to the rest of my thoughts on this album, I need to give my interpretation of the album because I'm going to talk to you in a little bit about my review of it. But I want to interpret this whole album. If I haven't interpreted it enough for you already, I literally want to spell it out for you of how I am coming away from this whole thing. Okay. And again, my opinion is this is all speculation, right? Like, I am not saying I am right. I am not saying this is exactly what happened. I am just trying to interpret what happened through the lens of what she is giving us. So they obviously met when they were 25 back in 2014. Like, it clearly something sparked between them. Like, their creative energies must have aligned. Literally in the music video, their energies are like coming together, and you can just see that like their minds connected, their creative, artistic like sides to them just completely meshed, and they were literally puzzle pieces in the dark. Like, something sparked between them, at least from her perspective, right? Like, it was just this like beautiful coming together of poetic, intelligent, creative energy. And unfortunately, like, I don't know what happened. Something obviously, it didn't work out at the time, like romantically, whether that was, it sounds like Matty Healy, maybe he wasn't ready to be in a relationship. Maybe like, it sounds like I was going to grow up and then I'm going to come back for you, like she says in Peter. So clearly like timing was not working out. Not working out. And then they were both kind of like in each other's orbits, right? But it never really aligned. And then finally it aligned after her and Joe called it quits, and it aligned last year. And the hard part of it all is that by the time that things finally aligned for them, they're both so like deep into their careers, where Taylor Swift is literally the biggest celebrity, the biggest icon in the entire world. She has created this empire for herself, okay? And Matty is, they're both on the top of their game. He literally went on at their very best tour. They're making some of the best music they've ever made. And by that time, the public already has this idea of who these people are in their brains. They're pretty common, maybe not so much the 1975, like that's, I guess, a little bit more niche, but they still have huge followings at their shows. Like, the show they played in my city was in one of the biggest venues we have here. So people know who these people are, right? And they have this idea and imagery of who these people are in their heads. Unfortunately, like I said before, Matty Healy has done some like questionable stuff, and public, he's kind of a walking PR nightmare. Love you, Matt, like truly I do. But Matty has said some controversial stuff. He's done some things that, most people don't agree with. And unfortunately, that gives people this idea of who he is, despite, if you really get into the 1975 fan base, Matty seems like he is truly an interesting individual. And I am not justifying anything. Okay. I'm just saying that that man has many layers to him, it appears. Unfortunately, when they start aligning, right? Like, this image of who Matty is to the public is deeply ingrained into people's brains. And the fans just come after them. The fans have seen his behavior before, and in the age of cancel culture and, internet vultures and all this kind of stuff, Taylor Swift is so big that anything you do is going to get dug up. Like, literally, remember when she started dating Travis and they like dug up his tweets from like 2009 where he can't spell squirrel. Like, people know everything you've ever put out online, anything you've ever said into the world. People are so hyper aware of anything you've ever done. So it just like, it literally gives Matty no chance at all. And it seems like Taylor really tried to call the dogs off, in the speech where she says, I am in the best place I've ever been in my entire life. I am the happiest I've ever felt. Like, I feel like everything is truly aligned. And by that time, it maybe was too late. Like, people were already just like crucifying them. And like, I can't even imagine being in their situation. Like, it's not only that you have to, when you're dating Taylor Swift, you're not only dating her as a person, but you're dating all of her fans. Like, you basically have to get approved by the fans to date her, which is so messed up. It's so messed up. Like, she can't just live her life and date who she wants to date. It's not like she just has to go to her mom and prove to him, like, Mom, I know you think he's like not a great guy, but like, this is what I see in him. No, she has like millions of people on her back that are super like hyper invested into her life. I mean, I'm saying I am one of those people that I'm hyper invested into her life, but offering their opinions on her relationship. And it's just so sad. And I can't even imagine, like, I totally understand where Matty Healy is coming from being like, I am destroying this entire career that you built for yourself, and people are coming for you because of things that I have done, and I can't sit here and just like watch you destroy your career. Like, I don't know. And obviously all of this is speculation, but this is just the ideas that I'm getting from the album of like, he's trying to keep her safe. He's trying to say it's better safe for you if I'm just not in your life than for me to be in your life. And Taylor is just screaming no. She's saying, I do not want, I want to be with you. I want to be with this person. I don't care if I ruin everything. I want to be with you. If this isn't the most like tragic star-crossed lovers story you've ever heard, like literally someone write this book. I'm not even kidding you. It's so sad. It's literally just this like these fated lovers who can never be together because they have the world at their back. And it's just it is so sad. It is so sad to me. And it literally makes me like it makes me so upset at the way the fan base has like just completely destroyed her personal life. It's so sad. It is so sad. And again, I think this is like honestly a product of just like the day and age we are in with the internet and people being just, there's literally no privacy anymore. But like, I can't imagine being her. I can't imagine. And I also, like I said, I also understand where Matty's coming from too, but it really sucks that he ghosted her. Like the way that it all clearly went about was just like not ideal in any sense of the imagination. And Taylor Swift is reeling from this, and this is what this entire album is about. She is like lashing out. She's saying, this is who I want to be with. I don't care what all my fans think. I don't care if I destroy my career. I want to be with you. She's just letting her emotions pour out, both at Matty and at the fans and at the industry and like every part of her life. She's just letting her emotions be heard, which makes for some beautiful, beautiful art, but it also is just so sad. It is so just literally breaks my heart. I don't know. Again, I do not know these people. I do not know these people at all, and it's actually crazy to me that I am this invested in this. But it's like as a reader, I get so invested in like stories, and I don't know, like especially like romance stories. I just like it. It feels so tragic to me, and it just feels like one of those unbelievable tragic love stories of our modern time. Like that's how it feels to me. Like these are literally my two favorite people, and they just can't be together, and it just breaks my heart. Okay, I need to leave. I need to continue on and give you the rest of the thoughts on this album because I still have more thoughts about it. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna be done. I need to stop continuing to film these clips. No, but I want to give my overall thoughts and review on this album because I didn't really mention it. And again, this is just my opinion. Like anyone is free to their own opinions. This is just what I'm thinking of it. I just don't want people to like come for me if like they disagree with me or whatever. But my overall thoughts about this album, lyrically, I think this is one of her best. The way that the first half of this album tells the story of this like pent up tension between her and Matty that is finally happening, and then just like this devastating downfall of the relationship, how he just completely ghosted her and then it just left her in ruins. I mean, it's literally tragic, and you could just feel the emotions that she portrays into this. It's unbelievable. And I feel like some of the songs that she's written are some of the most devastating breakup songs she's ever written, some of the saddest songs she's ever written, and I just feel like it's unbelievable in a lyric sense. It really is. She's truly telling a story, and I am like captivated. I am like just gnawing at the teeth to like learn more about what she is saying in this relationship. I'm literally scouring the lyrics to try and understand more comparisons and trying to understand like what happened. And again, this is the way that I like to enjoy the songs and the albums. You can enjoy them however you want to enjoy them. But I will say in overall, I will never say no to more Taylor Swift. I am not mad that she released a double album. I will never not love and enjoy the music that she puts out. I do think though that that the album didn't have to be a double album. And the reason I say that is because I feel like the messages start to get muddy and a little bit mixed as you get into that latter half of the album. Like the first half of the album is about this romance, this long-standing, finally it's happening, I've been thinking about you for the last 10 years romance that ends in devastation. And that first half of the album really tells the story, but also throws in kind of that caged asylum feeling that she was feeling from being the biggest celebrity in the world, and the feelings that she's working through with that. And also, like, I feel like it all plays perfectly into that with, like, you know, the hate that her and Matty received, and the Eras tour, and the way she's feeling depressed, and like the way she feels like she's caged in an asylum. Like all of that all of those themes worked really, really well in the first half of the album. The second half of the album, I feel like the message in the beginning kept the same with like the Black Dog and I'm Gonna Get You Back, and then also How Did It End and Peter. But then as you get into the Kim Kardashian stuff, as you get into I Hate It Here, which is honestly one of my favorite songs on the album, but like it just doesn't really fit with the rest of the album. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I just feel like those didn't have to be included and maybe could have been in a separate album, kind of like more on the Folklore Evermore vibes. Again, I'm not saying that like this is bad or anything like that. I'm just saying like the editing could have been done a little more concisely. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it could have been more of just like, okay, we have the first 15 songs and then we have like the Black Dog, Peter, How Did It End, and I don't know what are the other ones and the manuscript or something like that. Like that could have been one big message in itself. And I feel like it would have just conveyed exactly what she was trying to say rather than adding this other stuff that almost just feels like fluff now. Does that make sense? Sonically though, it's very repetitive, right? It doesn't feel like we're hearing literally anything new, which I mean, I don't hate because I love Jack Antonoff and I love Aaron Dessner. And I want to say this with a caveat, like it really feels like she had to write this album. And especially with her writing being so extremely vulnerable, it feels like she needed a safe space to be able to write these songs and be able to have collaborators who she felt safe with, which I completely get. Like I don't want to be talking to a random person about like my breakup that just happened that destroyed my entire life. Like that doesn't feel safe to me, you know? I think that it was probably necessary. She needed Jack and Aaron to be able to tell these stories, but I just really hope going forward she tries something else different musically, right? Like I thought that there was rumors that she was working with Joe DJO or Joe Carey, who was on Stranger Things, who also writes music and produces music. Like that would be incredible if she collaborated with someone like that, or like just trying out new sounds and new producers and stuff. I feel like would be a really fun next step. But like I am providing constructive, hopefully, critique to it, and I don't think that like that's a bad thing at all. Like I literally just said, these are some of the like lyrically the best songs she's ever written. And honestly, I think this has the potential of becoming one of my favorite albums she's ever done. I'm not even kidding you. I think I might like this more than I like Folklore. But just like sonically, we're ready for a change. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my total review on the album. And I honestly love it so much. And I can't wait to keep trying to figure out like more clues and more Easter eggs and like just trying to really keep deep diving into these lyrics because they are so beautiful and heartbreaking and tragic and just like they make me feel like they literally pull my soul out of my body and just like make me just feel feelings in the best way possible. Like it's just such a beautiful thing when you can feel just the humanity in you being spoken to. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable and it's beautiful and gorgeous, and like I literally have no words. Oh my god, wait, another thing I forgot to mention. Okay, sorry, we're going back again. Like it's literally, I can't stop finding things and Easter eggs and going back and learning about what happened during this time. It's like, it's literally everything. The concert that the 1975 performed right after they broke up, Matty did a special song by himself with an acoustic guitar on stage. It's an unreleased 1975 song called 102, and let me just read you the lyrics because it's literally gonna break your heart into a million pieces, okay? While we're here, we're at the common again. Said, well, I like the look of your shoes. I like the way that your face looks when I'm arguing with you. And so when we all grow old, I hope this song will remind you that I'm not half as bad as what you've been told. And when I knock at 102 and I see your pajamas, I can't stop smiling at you. And that's why we're here. We're at the common again. I've been pouring my heart out towards your optimistic grin. I said, I like the way that your face looks when you're yapping on about him. But on this shirt, well, I found your smell. I just sat there for ages, contemplating what to do with myself. I called you up at 102. We just sat there for ages talking about that boy. What was getting on to you? You. Now, if that just doesn't put a dagger through your heart, I don't know what does. I literally cried when I read that. Okay. I really hope that this video just like gave you some insight and some background information about the Tortured Poets Department and the events that were happening during this time. And I hope that like maybe you are able to look at the songs through a new lens. And again, like I said, I just tried to provide like the facts, and like as someone who is a fan of these two people, matching up the songs and whatnot, but like all of it's speculation. Again, I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm not saying any of it's fact. I'm just interested in all of this. And I think that it's really, really a beautiful piece of art. Just in the entirety of the Tortured Poets Department is a stunning work of art. And the way that it portrays this fatalistic romance that never was able to pan out in a way that Taylor had hoped. It literally is a tragedy, and it just breaks my heart. And the way that she's written these songs is stunning and beautiful. But I hope that you learned something from this. If you have other things that you've noticed throughout the lyrics or anything like that, like let's have a fun conversation in the comments. Please do not leave any hate. I'm not here to get in an argument. I literally just like love Taylor Swift, and I just want to like enjoy Taylor Swift with all of you guys and like bring my passions to the internet. Like that's literally all I want to do. I'm not here to get in an argument at all, okay? If you like books, I am this passionate about books as well, so I hope that you check out my other content if you're interested. If not, cool. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you find any other things in the album or any other Easter eggs. I am always here to figure that out and to know more. So have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!